Okay, hello and welcome to our today's lesson 2. So we are going to continue with the trigonometry. Here we have special ratios. These are also called sometimes special angles. So these angles you should know their answers. You should know their ratios because they are mostly used in YC questions. So we have 0, 30 degrees, 0 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees, and 90 degrees. So these are the special angles. Then the other ones, their answers are the ratios. So for example, sine 0 degrees will give us 0, cos 0 will give us 1, tan 0 will give us 0, in that order. So that's what we have here in the table. So these are things you should know in your head because most of you, those of you who are doing science and maths or who want to be solving without calculator, or you can also learn it in case there is no calculator. You can know that the value of sine 30 is 1 over 2 because 30 is root 3 over 2. Are you following? Sometimes you just don't need to type it in your calculator. Sometimes they require the answer without calculator. So let's continue to our next topic, our next subtopic. So in the next one, we are going to look at something they call cast. Listen, cast. So let's imagine we have a circle like this, and when the circle is divided into 4, so when the circle is divided into 2, that means it is in halves. This one half, another half. When it is divided into 4, that's in quarters, 4 quarters. So everyone is a quarter, another quarter, and then 4 quarters. I following? So we have first quarter here, like let's call this one first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and then fourth quarter. But in this topic, it is not called quarter, it is called quadrant. In maths, most often that's how it is called, quadrant. It is the same as when you draw your graph and then divide your x and y axis into 2. You have x here and then y here, negative x here, negative y here. It's the same thing. Every one part of it is a quarter or quadrant. That's how they call it. And then from here, from positive x to positive y is 90 degrees. The same thing apply from here to here, 90 degrees, here to here, 90 degrees, and a full circle will create 360 degrees. Remember, we are dealing with angles. That's finding sine of any angle, cos of any angle, tan of any angle. Are you following me? So now let's look at this. Sometimes the value of sine or cos or tan of some angles will be negative, others sometimes it will be positive. Sometimes you get the same answer, but the positive and negative symbols will be changing. Are you following? So let's know the reason behind that. Are you following? So from 0 here degrees to 90 degrees here, that's the first quadrant. In the first quadrant, it's starting from 0 to 90 degrees here. So if you are calculating any angle which is between 0 and 90 degrees, the answer you'll be getting for either sine, cosine, or tangent will be positive. So that means in the first quadrant, all will be positive. So since all will be positive, let's represent that one with A. That means all will be positive. Are you following me? Now let's go to the second quadrant. So the second quadrant begins from 90 degrees to 180 degrees. So that's in the second quadrant. This one we call it the second quadrant. Remember, we are moving anti-clockwise. So in the second quadrant, the angles are between 90 and then 180. So any angle that we be calculating and it is between, it's falling in this range, it will only be positive for one of these three ratios, which is sine. It will only be positive for sine. So sine will be positive here. So let's represent this place with capital S, positive. So that means when you are finding a tangent or cosine of any angle which is falling in this range, it will be negative. Only sine of that angle will be positive. Take note. Then in the third quadrant, which is between 180 to 270 degrees. Only cosine of these angles will be positive. So let's represent that with capital C. Only cosine will be positive. All the rest will be negative. Sine will be negative for these angles from 181 269. You can type it in your calculator and see. You see that your answers will be negative. Tan of it will be the same. And then let's go to the last one. So for the last quadrant, you can also guess it. Only tan will be positive. So that's how the cast work. As you can see, you can take notes of it. So the shortcut is cast. Okay, sorry. Here is only tan that will be positive. Here in the third quadrant, only tangent will be positive, and in the last one, only cosine will be positive. I just saw it. So that's how the cast is explained. Okay, so let's work an example, and you'll see in the next video.